A disturbing video of a woman feeding her infant alcohol sparked outrage in Nigeria. This act, allegedly intended to help the child sleep better, poses serious health risk. The Nigerian police force has launched an investigation and urged the public to provide information, and the citizens can actually reach out to the police via 091 699 67000. I'll call the number again, 091 699 67000, to aid in identifying the woman. The police prioritizes the health of children and their welfare, and the child rights advocates condemn the act and demand swift action. The police has vowed to apprehend the mother and ensure justice is maintained, is served. We want to discuss this because we're all mothers. You can join the conversation and call us on 02016352013, or you can call us on 09024163440. Tweet to us #TVC, hashtag your view on TV, so we can read your tweet, or you could also join us on our streaming platform and then just put in your comment there. Now, this conversation, when I watched the video, I was like, what level of ignorance would make a woman do this? What level of selfishness would make a mother do this? Why would you give your child the alcoholic drink? Like, this is, even me, I find that drink to be a very, very strong drink as an adult. Giving it to a minor. Nima, what was your first reaction when you saw a baby? Baby, like baby. So I want this baby to sleep. It's not cough syrup again. It's not Spiritin anymore. So hard drink.
I cannot pretend to sit here and say that I've not seen this before. And it's very heartbreaking.
Oh, that's sad.
Very sad. I can't pretend. It's not documented. I don't think I've seen any statistics of it. But women of the South, our people in the Sapele and the Delta, our people in the Benin, they pride themselves in, the alcohol they take after childbirth to calm down. The thing not flow away. Take something. Take kai, do shekpe, all of those things. They pride themselves. So growing up, I had this Ishekiri neighbor, and whenever they give birth, it's bottle they bring, the beer bottle. And they'll be
that's for the adults now.
No, when you're breastfeeding, everything you take goes to your baby.
Goes to the baby.
So I would see some drowsiness. Everyone would just be peaceful, calm. I go dairy. She said go dairy. Baby, I go dairy.
The children are not up. They're not active.
So, but at some point, I was a bit condoning of it mentally. I thought it was okay, and people do it, nothing they happen until I was waiting. So my waiting was for knowledge. God catched me because I was able to read and see how it affects the psychology of the babies, the mental, the brain development of the babies. And I was like, something that I was so accepting of, like this, is this dangerous? When we give birth, there's this pepper soup they do for us, black soup. The pepper was so much that my baby was purging. I was the one consuming the soup.
For breastfeeding.
But my baby, I noticed that the first stool that we expected the baby came so easily. And then everything was just so, then I noticed that from the stool of the baby, I could test, you change the diaper, and everywhere is still hot with the spices that I had just consumed. That's how dangerous I saw it. Then now as an adult, I am dealing with one mother that I always talk about on the show that I cannot stand anymore, that I will not give her a break. Because every time she's exactly what that woman does, she's doing it, and she's breastfeeding. And I've seen
drinking and breastfeeding.
Nima,
this video shows a woman
just for you to
drinking and then
giving how
putting
dangerous
sachet alcohol drink into the mouth of a baby. That is like race to power.
That's double the trauma that I'm going through watching that woman. People don't understand that when you're doing something bad, sometimes for worrisome people like me, you are punishing me to witness it. It's better that you don't even do such a thing or somebody arrest you. When you're breastfeeding, and now I feel that baby, her development is not going well because of that habit of her mom. So for me to just open the social medium and see that one too, doing like a silly person, using and saying that will make the baby sleep, you're a lazy mother. If a baby, when I had my daughter, she would sleep normally, she would, calm down. But my son, we do 6 hours work at night, every night, for him to adjust to nighttime and daytime. Babies have their adjusting period, and it's within the 40 days. Thankfully, Zib knows that it's his work, because I have to sleep. Whenever the boy starts at night, he frets, and it was this guy, they call it colic. boys will cry and all of that. I will just hand over the baby, turn my side, sleep. He will bring the baby for breastfeeding and he'll keep doing the work, and then when he's going to work, he's sleepwalking. We share the work because now 2 parents picking they get, but it's a lot of work, and it's for responsible adults to raise babies. If you're not ready for this thing, leave the business. You shouldn't even put your baby on sedative. You should be on exclusive breastfeeding if you want your baby to grow wholesomely. Well, talk less of you opening fenyija for the baby. You know, it's just annoying.
All right, when I saw this, I just said, you know what? We owe good mothers.
We need to celebrate them.
Yes, we need to celebrate. If you were born by a mother who even had just common sense, you don't know the blessing that you have already. There's so many stories I've seen and I've heard, you know, about mothers who are doing terribly or who don't even know better, any better. So these mothers, their intention is not to be evil. It's that they didn't even know that what they're doing is wrong. And then you have a mother that has common sense, has added awareness, and she gave birth to you and tried to raise you well. You don't know the blessing that you have been given. Just being born by that sort of person. Just being born by that person. Because there are some people being born today. I was listening to a live of someone who was a drug addict, gave birth to a child, sold it so she could get more money for drugs. Some human beings are being born to mothers like that. Now look at this video. Of course, at first I was incensed. I was upset. How dare she? But then I also know that I come from a country where culturally, some places like you have highlighted, it's acceptable. So when we see it in a village setting, we accept it. It's something that we've done, you know. But then when we see it on social media, we are shocked. Why would she do something like that? But probably she's looking from where she came from, where she's seen mothers, grandmothers take alcohol, give a little alcohol to children. I know people who have put a little, they may not as much as she seemed to have given that child. They dip their finger in alcohol and place it in the child's mouth. So culturally, we have that. And that's where education is important. You know, you said something about education earlier. It's important. It's important when we say send them to school, primary and secondary. This is what we mean, because at that level, at least there's some information that they will get. Information is a little different from what they're learning at home. So why is alcohol even, why is it dangerous for a mother to do that? There's something called, is it fetal alcohol syndrome disorder? If you give your child alcohol, either directly or via breastfeeding, you will damage your child developmentally. The child will, the child will not develop properly. Their brain will not develop properly. They will have issues growing up. They will not be able to sit in one place. They will not be able to do work. They will not be able to make good decisions in life. They will struggle with making proper decisions in life. And we have so many children being born this way. And what hurts me most, apart from being angry for those who just do it for being lazy, what hurts me most is that people are doing it because they don't know any better. And in 2025, we shouldn't have a Nigerian mother that doesn't know any better. Education is important. The Ministry of Women Affairs, some of the grassroots projects and initiatives, these are the things that we're talking about. CSOs, NGOs, these are the sort of information we're talking about. I was talking to my mom. My mom spent her weekend doing a medical outreach. And she was saying how sometimes she just realized that a lot of Nigerians just go and they'll just say to a doctor or whatever, I'm sick. They give them medicine. She says she realized that people don't even have information. Yeah, I have high blood pressure. They gave me this. She says, no, before you are given a high blood pressure medication, you would have done a minimum of 3 tests to see if there's something that is affected by something you do, or, you know, you are not just meant to be handed medicine. She says if she were to own an NGO, it will be about educating our people. And that's what I say. There's a lack of education concerning so many things. We're just living life. Whatever happens, happens. That's really sad.
So, when I saw that, I was outraged, and you know, like
weak. You are still weak, Chef.
Yes, you know, also like with what Mariam has said, like the effect of the secondary transfusion in terms of breastfeeding. Because when I went to see my sister for her 40th, she took a glass of wine, and she said, oh, that she has not tasted alcohol. She drinks, I don't drink. That she has not tasted alcohol in 7-8 years that she had her kids because she's a doctor and she's a specialist with breastfeeding mothers and stuff like that. So she now told me how important, not drinking, when you're breastfeeding, how it affects the brain and everything of a child. I knew that was a problem, but I didn't know how in depth. She even wrote a book on that. But anyways, I was outraged when I saw this, but I want to look at it from a different perspective, right? Because basically, Nima and Mariam has said all we need to know on this. But when the mother was given the child, I watched that video like a couple of times, was given the child that alcohol. I noticed that the child didn't make a different type of, they didn't grimace. Didn't cry, didn't make, it wasn't shocked, the taste of that alcohol, right? So then it blend. So I'm thinking in my head, like,
it's normal.
You know how people are constantly chasing clout and trying to create nonsense and different things on social media, right? And that's why I'm happy how the United States now have said that for visa requirements, you have to open up your pages so that they can see what you're doing or know the kind of person that you are. So I think that maybe that's my thought too, that she put juice or something, because the child there was no reaction from the child to taste something.
What if it's something the child is already used to?
Yeah, there's a possibility, but I also want us to look at it from a different angle. To also
like she cut some, she did like this.
No, if you notice, look at it, the way she cut that thing, the thing was already open. I watched that video over and over again. Look at it properly. She acted as if she cut the thing, but maybe she had already cut it already.
She also took a sip now.
Yes, she had already cut it,
but
right?
I get what you're saying.
Yes. So I feel that she was just trying to create content. But then we need to be educated the kind of things we put out there. Why are you creating that kind of content? What are you trying to teach? And now you've gotten into trouble because of a useless, misinformed content that you created that affects a child. Now police and social welfare, they've carried you. So people need to be more self-aware and not allow this cloud chasing, this social media
that's even taking it from the angle of it is a social media stunt. We've seen many social media stunts. So taking it from the angle that it could be a social media stunt, why would you want to use your child drinking alcohol as a social media stunt?
Foolishness.
It already speaks of
the kind of mindset
that person has. Let me take Al-Ajia Mohammed. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
I can see the lady in...
You are live, Ajia Mohammed. Please, you are live right now. Join us.
Okay, thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, all the ladies there.
Thank you. Yeah, welcome to the show.
About the topic you're saying, in my area, they give babies alcohol anyhow. And when you talk to them, they tell you it boosts them.
Yeah.
Or some will say it makes them sleep. Or some will say because they don't have money to feed, so the alcohol will make baby sleep, and then they can do their work, whatever they want to do.
Culture.
Mostly the Yorubas do it here.
You see?
I see it a lot. But when I try to control them, they tell me what I'm saying is nonsense, because I come from the city and then I come and live here and then I don't know anything. I have money. That's what they tell me. So alcohol is nothing for some people, some ignorant people. They don't even care. That's
the money they used to buy alcohol will cook small soup now.
It's not even about the cooking soup or all of that.
No, if they say it's about
video,
babies hungry, and then you give them alcohol so they sleep so you can...
This video, the lady was talking about giving the baby alcohol so that the baby can sleep and she can rest. When we go for antenatal, there are things, when I did my own antenatal, I did it in a general hospital and they taught us things like this. Don't drink. I used to fix my nails when I was pregnant. When I went for antenatal, they told me remove your nails, don't paint, because we need to see if you are pale. That they can just press your nail to see that you are pale. There was education. I have a pregnant person right now doing antenatal in general hospital. Ijaye. And they were not teaching. She does not know all of these things. I'm wondering, what do you do?
Go early?
She goes early, very early. I'm like, what are they teaching you? Say, when we go, we pray, sing, and then we wait. Then they market they market different antiseptic things for sale. I'm like, are they not teaching you how to take care of your child? Why you shouldn't drink alcohol? Like they explained in antenatal. The truth is, we can't grow beyond what we know. Education is what will help you know what is good or what is bad. The fact that you've done it culturally, they used to kill twins before. It was culturally acceptable to throw a child away. A child that has health defects. They throw the child away and abandon the child. These things were happening, but we got educated. And as we got educated, we realized there are better ways to manage things.
Yeah.
Women, mothers, people should get education on how to raise their children. Because I want to first just look at it that this is an ignorant parent.
Of course.
Because that's like there are two categories, either ignorant parents or a selfish, wicked parent. So the ignorant parents, I would say, oh, let us educate these parents. But there are the categories of knowledgeable parents that are just selfishly saying, this, you won't kill me, you no go kill me. Take put that for your mouth, you no go kill me kind of thing.
I started that these cultural acceptable practices, we witness them. You know the caller that called, what she said, I have never seen a Yoruba. In fact, the first time I saw somebody buy a beer for a 3-year-old boy, he was from the southeast. And we were having the argument, the wife just walked away because she would be domestically violated if she continued to follow my advice. And I told him, I said, it wasn't healthy. The children, my son was just a little older than that boy. I was coming from work and I saw the boy. He had just had a drink from the bottle, a sip, and he gave the boy. The boy too had it. A 3-year-old, you couldn't even hold the bottle.
That's lack of education.
He told me, he said, it will calm him down. So people, when you witness some of these things, this acceptances of the abnormal, the things that common sense should tell you, when you accept it, you see people copy it over and over. That man, a full adult, that was his last child. And I don't know how the other children survived him, because the small boy could not carry the bottle. He needed help to hold that bottle.
I think I've seen that video.
It's not video. It's my neighbor. It's my neighbor. I know him. He knows me. We don't confront. I'm sorry if it's what you say. This man never forgave me, because I told him, I said, you see this, it will never pass. Because we had to fight off the bottle. I don't understand how people witness this. I told you, I said it was from reading. I understood the neurological effects of it on babies. I thought it calms the babies.
Wow.
Growing up, when
that's
they do
what
it,
they say over and over again.
If it wasn't religion, I'm sure that's something I would have copied. If it wasn't religion, I would have copied
because
it.
It's like a norm.
Because every baby would just calm down.
Area,
the mother calms down.
Everybody drinks.
But that's
fight
the effect of alcohol. Someone was saying here that how can the mother not know that she knows?
No, because some people don't know
that she would have experienced what the alcohol does to her and know what it would do to her baby.
But if she enjoys what it does to her, she would think that the baby is enjoying the benefits as well.
The things that giving alcohol to babies would stop them from being able to build a strong nervous system. It will stop them from being able to eat well, and it might affect their respiratory, may lead to respiratory failure. Now, their growth retardation, like they won't be able to grow well if they are unable, if they are taking, if you give children alcohol, they won't grow at the optimum way they should grow. They will not feed properly, which would inhibit the normal growth they should have. The worst part of it is it increases dependency lifetime. So they are likely going to become addicts. So what we think is a good thing, say, because they gave the person alcohol when they were small, it helped them to become, they can withstand alcohol. No, that person is an alcoholic. That person is an addict. So the fact that you can drink 5 bottles and it does not shake you is not a good thing. You should be worried because it means that you've had early exposure and now you have built a level of resistance that is still killing that person. Adults are already complaining of liver and kidney disease based on alcohol. Then imagine giving children.
And can we just tell mothers that it doesn't help the postpartum bleeding? We were given that impression that it helps, really. In fact, the hot water, this is just punishment. Personally, I want doctors to come and tell us about the whole hot water science that we're told. Postpartum is just basic care. You drink alcohol, doesn't help it. The sapele water thing doesn't do magic. That's the truth.
It doesn't shrink the stomach.
It doesn't shrink any stomach. All the sapele people I know,
you want to shatter. This culture that you want to be right.
And somebody says propaganda. The southeastern person is my neighbor, and I know his state. He still goes in December, so please, thank you.
Your own is general. You say it's generalization.
He's not.
We'll take a quick break.
I made an instance of one person copying it.
We'll continue with the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back, and thanks for staying with us. So while we're on break, we're arguing. Let's not generalize the culture. People are learning it, but the truth is, even if we don't generalize, history remembers that there were places where they were killing twins. History remembers there were places where some things people used to genital mutilation. History, we know it that Southwest were doing genital mutilation.
Has the highest.
So we cannot, we must be able to say the truth and not feel like, we are going to be will be called out for saying the truth as statistically been recorded, that there's a particular area of Nigeria where it's accepted that when you are pregnant, you can drink to relieve the pain or stress you are feeling. And when you have a baby, just put finger into alcohol and drop a few drops into the mouth of the child to calm the child down. The calming of child down is that you are affecting the baby's nervous and regular response medically. And I feel we should educate we should educate people to change this culture, because it is not serving us. We're now having a generation of alcoholics as adults that can be avoided. So let's talk about the police reaction to this. The police is searching for, what should they do? Should they arrest the child, arrest the mother? What's the punishment going to be like? Will they now imprison? Like, what are we going to do?
The proper department should be the Ministry of Women Affairs. Find that mother, arrest her, let her understand the implication. Number one is that maybe she doesn't know the implication of what she's doing to her baby. She also doesn't know the implication of what she's doing on her page.
Because if you know, why would you post it?
Yeah.
If you know,
you are just starting a terrible trend, a very bad example, and you think that will get, because it's possible that, you know, she's doing what Amaka said, just to garner following. You know, this of course will evoke a lot of reactions, and so maybe a lot of engagement on her page will happen. But then somebody must school her. There must be consequence for it. Yeah. And if it's possible, we have social welfare in some states. I hope if it's Lagos, they can take her baby. She should know that. They can in Lagos take her baby. I cannot verify for other states, but for Lagos, they can take her baby. If she's not a fit parent, she might lose her baby. You know, so she should know better than to do this, and the consequence must be meted out to discourage others. You know, Tokwe, I was just thinking as we're talking about, you know, some of my friends who grew up to become alcoholics, they were exposed to it from returning bottle. I didn't grow up in Ikoyo. You know those bottle drinks that they came in bottles? Or you go give Mama Dagbaja, that's when you see them licking off the drops.
Emptying the bottle.
Emptying the bottle on behalf of the guests and their parents. And, you know, Dr. Oshodi, Yewande Oshodi was here. She's a neuropsychologist, I think. She was on our show back then before we had the fire. And one of the things she said to me, said, for an adult to grow beyond 20 years before they taste alcohol, then they grow the ability to control themselves. But if they do taste it under that age, there will be a problem for life. Neurologically. I compared it to my addiction to Gary. My kids, I thought, no, they will never take Gary. But every afternoon I come back, I'm doing Gary and my groundnut mix. And my kids always wonder, today we are dealing with it. This one is begging to take Gary to school. The school is saying no. My son, every day, as if it's a tradition, be looking for Gary up and down. So imagine if it was alcohol. I had a bar in my house.
Yes.
Problem.
And we also need to look at the fact that what the law says in terms of what's the legal age for drinking, first of all, alcohol in Nigeria. That's 18 years, right?
In Nigeria, it's 18.
In Nigeria, it's 18. And so that should tell you something. There's a reason why legal age to drink, because they expect you to be responsible and everything. Then this one has taken away that right from the child to decide, or that choice to decide if they want to take alcohol or not. So you force that on that child, right? Yes, and so a crime. So that's a crime on its own. You committed a crime.
Exactly.
Do you understand? Yes, even though in most parts of Nigeria it's still not enforced, where even like the clubs and everything, the Nigeria is not a place where they ask you for your ID or whatever to go in or to buy alcohol, which so is not enforced, right? But you've taken away that choice, that power of choice from that child to decide if they want to ever take alcohol or not. And you've done this is a criminal offense, and that's why the police has gotten involved. That woman should be arrested. And then I hope that woman, if that it's just content that she's creating, that she's able to prove that the content in that sachet,
whichever
way, does not matter.
Doesn't matter.
You must take it
the
at face value.
that whether you are putting juice inside the sachet, what you have communicated to the world.
Amaka don't give her defense.
No, even if it is juice, what you communicate to the world is that you put alcoholic drink into your child, and you are pushing it as a narrative of something that people can do, because we all learn, we're all learning things. So you see something online and you might end up doing it. So I like the reference of the police.
So the grace will, the grace that should be extended shouldn't be that she should not face any repercussions for it. Good. The grace would be in the levity, you know, how much of it that she do. But I would love to see her doing some form of community service.
Exactly.
I would love to see her being seated down and educated. Then I would like to see that her homework is that she goes to her community and educates other mothers about the dangers of feeding your child alcohol. It's very important it's conversation actually, because as we have heard, people in their community still believe it's something that is okay. So there's a lot of teaching that needs to go on.
And she also needs to come back on social media and then apologize and tell people that that narrative that she was pushing is not the right one, because some people have taken this and they've gone with it and they might not have the opportunity to now see the other side of it. So it's quite important that, you know, she bears the consequences and comes back, apologizes, and then does educational video to show that this narrative that was trying to push was actually the wrong one.
So, Sir Michael is saying, I beg, calm down, Nima. Where is your compassion? I don't have compassion for this mother right now. Yeah. So I didn't follow my pregnancies. Yeah, my compassion is for the child, and that you're a mother does not mean you're a perfect parent. You're not. You're the biological mother does not mean you're the best parent. Some babies are better off with some of their relatives than with their mothers, and so I don't have any compassion for her.
What do people think about licenses for mothers to be? To prove that you're taking a competent mother.
For parents generally, because sometimes you put too much pressure on the mother alone. You know, they are comments, but it's a
no, because people have said you need, before you know, there are things you can drive, you need to do like a test. Before you can vote, you need to be like 18 and things like that. And then this is the most important thing you have to do as the work. Why have we not thought of it?
Yes, because of human life, I have not thought of it. I said, as I'm looking old like this, when I got into a club this time, I was in London. I was asked for my ID, and I told the guy, as in, look at me. He said, your ID.
Not by look.
I have to show ID. It's not by look. How much more? A baby. Wicked.
Very, very. So I would like to, as we round off, we'll move on to another topic. I wanted to just say that we should appeal to the antenatal. People should go to, when you're pregnant, go for antenatal, attend the trainings, because it helps you. You don't know how to be a mother. Even if you have raised your younger ones, you really don't know new knowledge on how to
and you need all the knowledge. Before those mama will come with their knowledge. Somebody put toothpaste on navel. I saw this one. See, please, this
as antiseptic.
You're not supposed to put anything on the navel.
What is the toothpaste supposed to do? What was her intention?
She said it was supposed to help the umbilical cord heal faster.
Oh my God.
Somebody else told her. Instead of cleaning with spirit that we all know, she puts toothpaste.
She doesn't know.
So you don't know these things. Before those mama will come, please take a few 2-3 months course, and it's 9 months pregnancy. Take the course.
Do you know, as much as what you're saying is right, but you're still talking to people who even have small common sense. There are people just on the streets now, getting pregnant, having children, dumping them, treating it as if it's not a human being. There are so many of them right now, happening today as we're speaking. And that number scares me.
So the police said that their responsibility is to protect lives and, you know, children and prevent child abuse. This is a child abuse situation.
Yes,
so definitely we expect for the police to be doing. But there were other things that we mentioned during the break that I think we should actually talk about. Having, exposing our children to alcohol by having a bar in the house. You know, I don't know how it is now, because I don't live the kind of life where I send my children to go and buy me alcohol. But I know people that they'll be like, they send their child to go and buy them cigarettes, send their child to go and buy them a bottle of drink, or buy them, you know, hard drinks. And these are underage children. And those things are exposure that we should talk about. I'd like to have your take on all of the different exposures that children get to have, and we don't see it as a big deal. We see it as, you're a small child, I'm supposed to send you on errand, and you're supposed to just be a responsible.
My parents allowed us to be rude to our neighbors when it comes to alcohol. I wasn't allowed to buy it for somebody. I wasn't allowed to buy cigarettes for somebody, and I will endorse my child to even speak rudely at any adult that forces them to go buy it.
No, you don't have to be rude. You just say, no, my parents don't allow you. No,
knowing me,
you cannot encourage a child to be rude. There's no excuse.
Amaka, I said I would endorse it. No. I do not allow my kids to be rude, but on this one, you know me, and you call my child. If I say something, they worry you. My child is permitted. My child is permitted to be rude to you because you've crossed the line. In my family, we didn't take alcohol. Yeah, we didn't take alcohol. My wedding, there was no serving of alcohol. You had to go and sit outside. And then you look at a child that I'm raising, and you decide that child should go and buy alcohol. You definitely want to ruin my life or ruin my plan for my kids. So the child is allowed to speak up rudely as if possible
they can
at
speak
you
up,
and throw your money at you.
Well, it's just different style. And to tell you, in this case, I'm right.
You shouldn't. You shouldn't send my child on such an errand.
When it comes to sending my child to get some
Something
substances,
dangerous, yeah.
yes, I
Even-
would like for my child to be
even
able to
hard.
speak up and even err on the side of rudeness. I'm willing for that to happen.
I will defend it.
Yes, because but you know, sending a child to buy those things is not less. It's not. It's not more sinister than the ones who have bars at home. So because you are not sending your child to, but you have a whole bar in your house with all sorts of drinks. And then you have your teenage children and then you are feeling that I don't ask them to buy anything, but uncle, you are buying it and you are keeping it and displaying it in your home.
Because
you're just in the same position.
I had to make that conversation in my house with my husband, like, see, we need to get rid of every form of alcohol in the house. Because if the teenagers are growing, they are waking up in the middle of the night to go and eat cake from the freezer. They are waking up to eat.
Turn on the internet. And the internet.
So it feels like, and a lot of movies that we see already shows relaxation is with a bottle. Relaxation, many movies all the movies you see now, once you finish your work, the close of work is with a bottle.
We'll take a drink.
And that is, my son had to ask me, watching a series, like, why, how come every day they drink? I said, but you see me drinking every evening. So it's obviously a film. And so it is, he said, but every day, once they finish work, they just go to the bar and drink, or come to the house and they're drinking. So we are also using this.
They don't even eat a meal. In full movies, the entire scene, they always have their conversations over a bottle and glass.
There's no food, there's no water, there's no juice.
Yesterday, the head of the Nigerian Film and Video Censors Board, I watched his interview yesterday, and in watching it, I saw his emphasis on how he's incapacitated with social media. You know, we just talked about this. You know, if it was a social media, if it was a movie, he would have form of power to, to censor it. And now social media, the person just did a 2-minute movie. Damaging enough. And we're saying, I don't have apologies for a child who is rude to say, no, this is wrong. If you need to school an adult, school them. School them as emphatically as you can.
Mariam.
But the reality, at the end of the day is that we have to protect children, right?
100%.
But then when they turn 18, at the end of the day, everybody has a choice. The way you tasted, the way everybody tasted the alcohol.
They say train up a man in the way he wants him to go. When they grow up, they don't depart from it.
So all of us, for this table, all of us taste.
Yes.
And all of us taste.
I didn't want to say, but
where did we taste it?
I tasted and I decided that it wasn't for me.
And you were probably an adult.
That's what I'm saying. When I turned 18, that's what I said.
Okay, let me also use my personal story. I didn't want to, but I will, just because it's a learning thing. So growing up, I would say, my mom is there to confirm, you can ask, but growing up as a child, I would say that I was one of those children that they would use as a good example. See how she behaves, why can't she be like that? So I was a good child, good example, responsible. But did I take alcohol as an underage child? Yes, I did. I did, because we used to travel for Christmas. And at the time when we used to travel for Christmas, there was a lot of alcohol around, and there was a place where they used to keep alcohol, the choicest wines, they put them there. And as teenagers, where the adults were not watching, we'll go into that room, you take one, and then some even came in some mini bottles, they came with different tastes and different, we would take care of ourselves. And I remember telling my auntie that, did you know we did that? She was in shock. She was in shock. One, the good one. Two, I thought that I was there properly as an adult to watch over you, to make sure people were not doing, and yet, even in that very ideal scenario, you were able to do that. So yes, we'll find our children be so curious that they will make some bad decisions. So we also pray for that. And then, but the ideal thing is to keep teaching them. I knew it was wrong because I've been told alcohol was wrong in my home. I knew was underage drinking was. I abused it then in that room. We abused it, we drank it well, and then we went to sleep.
I had my drinks, but it wasn't good. That's why whenever I'm with my friends, I don't leave my drink and come back to it. Because of my over-olioli, they spiked it for me. I came, I took my drink, and the thing went to my brain immediately. I was like,
because it's not something you're used to.
It's tonic. And I left that party immediately because I knew
Welcome to the show, Lubumi. Oh, we lost that call.
No, from the kind of person that I don't know my taste buds. That I don't drink not because I don't want to, but just because it's just it's just
doesn't
something.
work
The taste,
for
the
you.
smell, everything. I just don't like it. So a couple of times, my family members maybe were out, family gathering. I'll leave and then they'll put a drink, they'll put something. They just want to
drink.
know
Yes,
moment
yes.
and mark your own.
Wow.
Maybe I just take it like I want to
can't
even
tell.
taste it. I already know there's something in my drink. I don't know.
Now,
It puts me off.
my husband
yeah.
was shocked. When we got married, we went to see an uncle and they brought a bottle. I just looked at the bottle. I said, it has some percentage of alcohol. I won't take it. And he said, how did you know? They sent a fruit wine. I said, me? I know alcohol now because of that one experience. Because it was my close friends who spiked my drink. So I was in a safe place, supposedly. When I came in and I took a sip from my drink, and the thing burnt me all the way down, went to my head.
But statistics is showing new information. They say Gen Z's are taking less alcohol than previous generations. And they are moving, and they are also moving away from, they are moving much more towards a healthier wellness lifestyle than we ever did. So that's something that
But they're taking a lot of drugs.
There's a lot of
smoking,
drugs too.
less alcohol, but more drugs, more pills.
psychedelics.
They're popping pills.
Things are happening.
Yes, they're popping
well.
pills. They're not drinking, but they're doing other things to stay high.
Worst things.
I
God
think
will help us.
At the end of the day, it's conversation, right? And then education. You will get back to that education last.
It's important.
Because we've discussed alcohol in children, teenagers, adults, I think that we should let's go back and do alcohol with pregnancies. And
But please, before we do that, I need to respond to truth is truth. I see the comment dropping. I can only quickly read them. They're talking about me saying I permit my child to be rude to an adult. That offer them on alcohol.
Each person parents
Everybody
differently.
parent your child. My efforts so far, I'm actually every effort to parent my children. I have to go and pray for God to make it work.
Yeah.
I have the fear as a parent that children, no matter how perfect your parents are, they don't really always, not all the cases do they turn out the way
Some rebel.
You play, so you pray that my mother always says, after correcting your child, pray. You pray that your child, that God endorses your effort. I cannot be putting in this much effort. You see the life I'm living, holding myself as the role model to my kids, and you, as a close relative, family member, or friend, decide to do otherwise around me. If you do it, my child should insult you. I've said it today, go and put it anyway. My child, throw the money at that adult. If that is what it will take.
And
Can I ask you a question?
That is acceptable for Nima.
Perfect for me.
I
So don't correct me
will
on
not
that.
accept it in my household. I would teach my children to speak up, but I will tell them they can speak up without
On
being
alcohol,
rude. And
on
you know
drugs.
the thing is, it is okay for me to parent my children the way I find it suitable.
Can I give
and
you
it's
a
okay
scenario?
for Nima
Do
to
you
do
know that
how she
I
finds it
had
suitable.
mothers around my mom. My mom was
I have a
training
call.
us to be chaste kids. Sorry, you want to go? I had.
Let her take the
Yes,
call.
let me take the
Take your
call. Welcome to the show. Hello, are you there? We lost the last caller, so I don't want to lose this one
Please,
too.
please, take the call.
Hello. Ouch. Mary Jane, welcome to the show. Good morning. Oh, we lost the caller. I'm so sorry, but
So, Tope, we were 4 girls. My mother was doing all her best by her standard to raise her girls. But we had a few of our neighbors who would call us and say, that guy is asking you out. I've taken number for him. Go to his house now. Nothing is there. And those people I just knew, they would never take responsibility for how you go. Whatever comes out of it. They would, also have collected money. Growing up, those were my experiences. I wish, that my mother had allowed some form of rudeness, because when you come back and you're accusing, the person won't allow you put in a word. Their voice is usually louder. My kids, if they're watching this video, are permitted to tell a person, my mother will not allow me. If you emphasize and say, I'm an adult, go for me first. All those nonsense that happened when we're growing up, please, you are permitted to be rude to that adult. Throw their money at them, come and tell me and I will defend you. That's the truth, because you cannot be working for your own to be good and be working against my own and be around me. You are the devil himself.
Can I give you a real
perfect
life
mummies.
scenario that happened? So, you go to a club, and the thing with Nigerian clubs is that very old men still go to clubs with very young children. And this, I think 18, 19-year-old was in the club, and she got up wearing a short outfit, and this older man smacks her on the bum.
yeah.
And the question was, how should she have responded? Because he's a much older person and she's much younger. She should have said, I'm so
wrong.
sir, you should not have done that, I'm so sorry. Or should she have done what she did, which is she took a glass of water and turned it on his head because he refused to respect himself. So people were actually discussing that she should not have been rude. Even in that scenario, she should not have been rude to that.
She's 18. She's an adult. She's termed an adult. She's 18. She's not
They
a
are both
child.
adults. Did they marry?
They are both adults.
But in Nigeria, she's a child.
I get you. It's a very thin line. In that scenario, I will end up. I feel like my being polite also made me a bit more vulnerable.
Yes.
But so there's a vulnerability with that. Be polite. So we need to find that balance in being firm, even as we are being polite. Because I mentioned it that I've had a near rape situation with a neighbor, and he was with a neighbor, and it was the niceness. I just like that. This thing will happen. I just took his key and I stabbed him like it was really bleeding. I started shouting.
I will leave you what he did and be discussing your key. So we'll leave what he did and be discussing that you stabbed him in your defense.
Exactly. So
I'm not on that
if you are in that space.
So when because I want us to understand it, when a parent says to the point, there are some things where I feel that there is a point where a child can be rude. A child will be forgiven for being rude. And I was just going to say that because even if you look at this conversation, we have put all our emphasis on the fact that she has talked about the rudeness and not the reason why she has mentioned.
Yes. Let's not move away from the reason. Mary, welcome to the show. Good morning. I'll come to Yamaka.
Sorry.
This one, I took it too.
Yes. Now, so let's not forget the fact that we're bringing other scenarios on the fact that the issue is on sending a child message and how a child should respond. Let's not take away from that is the bone of contention here.
No. That was not the bone of contention. That was not the bone of contention.
Don't send my child on
alcohol.
That's what I'm saying, on alcohol.
Don't expose my child to something I consider evil.
That's what I'm saying, that sending the child
my child to the market.
The bone of contention here is not sending, is the alcohol she's talking about.
That's what I'm saying, that the alcohol. That's what I'm saying, the alcohol.
So in my head, I'm thinking that
for the fact that, let me learn. So for the fact that a child is not rude doesn't mean that it shouldn't be firm. You can be firm. You can I'm coming. Everybody has spoken. Let me speak. You can be firm in saying no. That doesn't make you weak. That doesn't make you docile.
And it doesn't mean you are rude.
That doesn't mean that you're rude. There are certain kids that naturally they are quiet, they are calm and everything, their expression. I'm not I was a quiet and calm child, but then I was a very firm child. I'm still a very firm person. I'm not a trouble person or whatever, but I'm a very firm person. By the time you look at my face and when I open my mouth, I'm not rude. When I open my mouth and I speak, you know not to move or step on my toes. So what I'm trying to say is that I believe that you can be firm. You don't have to be rude.
For you.
A lot of us growing
up, for them, they have that so that we don't change the conversation.
Let's not dwell on this.
We have discussed it already.
Let's not move away
we have accepted that for some person's parenting is allowed. For other person's parenting is not allowed. Choose the one that works for you, but ensure that you give your children the bandwidth on what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. So your child must know. I cannot do this kind of errand. I cannot do this type. I can do this type.
Don't go that.
It's not allowed.
You are just a shameless adult.
So my mom has said I cannot do this kind of thing. Oh, help me to even. I'm thinking about that. I don't have my children are not in a place where they can even be sent those kind of errands. However,
but you don't know when a relative is visiting. You don't know.
It can happen in a party. You cannot be in a party together and you have adult section, children section, and your child is being sent to go and collect a drink from the specific one from the adult's bar or something, and the child is on his way and he takes a sip. You want to protect your children from this kind of thing. So specify, these are errands. Mommy, I'm not allowed to. Auntie, I'm not allowed to do this type of errand. And if it gets to the level of being, if your parents equip you to be rude in the situation. If my own children, I won't equip them to be rude, but I'll equip them to be able to speak up.
It's important to speak up, but most of us grew up unable to speak about the evil. You're speaking about the evil, they're addressing nobody is addressing the adults. The adult has to be addressed in the room. You call it out. But we were made to become respectful. My mother used to beat me to conform to that respect. And I saw the dangers, I saw the damage. It was a choice for me to turn out right. I could have followed those parents. The woman that asked me, follow the guy now, waiting there, he go just touch you small. She knew my parents' standards. She knew my parents' standards.
I can never forget.
It was a choice. And whenever I try to say, hey, you didn't have to, I say, I'm angry. How do I say it? You're shutting me up. My child will not be shut up.
Out of time. Yes,
my child will go rude.
That one we know that.
So avoid my child.
Go to your friend's this child. Is a quite controversial issue because we have actually discussed this before, and I remember saying it that I would allow, there are some instances that I would like my child to err, even onto the point of being rude. And it came with a lot of backlash. Even Nima did not support me on that case. But it just shows you that, you know, there comes a point, there's something per parent that for them, that's the last and final line. Like in China, I learned when they were talking about safety, they said, this is a red line for us. You must not. They don't even understand it. So every parent has a red line and would want, hope that they want their child to be able to stand up and speak up for themselves and protect themselves. So the rudeness is not really about you, the adult. It's them protecting themselves. And then we'll deal with the
And it's important, relatives who live in. So you're living in your house, your own uncle is visiting. He's gotten exposure, he's putting your child at risk. It's not just neighbors, it's relatives, those uncles.
Honestly, we're out of time. I remember my mom fighting with a neighbor that, how can you know that my only daughter has a boyfriend and you did not tell me? Because it was expected that everybody is watching out for each other. And then she found out that the boyfriend, the mom of the boyfriend, is someone in our association of suppliers. And she went to that one and said, you are wicked. Like, you are 100% a wicked person. And I think we need to get back to that place of parenting. If I see something with anybody here's child, I will tell the parents because it is.
I would appreciate it, please.
Because it is important. We should do it for each other.
Yes. Don't just tell me.
Nima,
correct the child all the way.
Tell me.
I will not correct the child.
I will not beat your child.
Because
I will tell you.
People get to do things that your other parents do not know is being done. So if the parents don't know, tell the parents. This is what your child is doing. So that they will not say they don't know. Somebody told me my children used the F word. That was like a year or two ago. I was shocked.
Yeah, like, no.
I said, do you know my son? I'm like, you don't know my son.
And my upbringing.
Because I don't allow it in my house. I don't use it. Only for him to say, is it not like, is it S? Like I saw, he pointed at the boy. I said, you used.
It happened. On Saturday, I hosted 11-year-old children. My daughter turned 11 while I was away, so she just had a few of her friends. It's not like anything bad happened, but I saw these children act like themselves without their parents there. Like all I saw were little ladies, like ladies like us, having conversation like us, but it's just that they were 11. They are just like us. There's one, and for everyone I could tell who their mother was because of their behavior. If you have a mother that your daughter is doing the same thing. If you have a sharp mouth, if you are sharp-mouthed, know that when you are not there, your daughter is doing exactly what you're doing. It was just interesting to see that they are full adults, full
like our time is completely done, but remember why we started this conversation. Educating ourselves. It is the key to growth, is the key to development. What you don't know will still hurt you. Giving children alcohol is very, very bad. Drinking alcohol as a pregnant person, very bad. Drinking when you are breastfeeding, equally bad. Everything you eat goes just through the breast milk into your child. So in case you don't know, now you know. Pass on the knowledge. That's what we can take on the show. See you tomorrow. Bye.